Hello and welcome back to part 1 of this series of my uni experience, year 2. Although technically part 0 was the first one because it was me moving into here and stuff before uni, but anyway, we're starting off busy as per usual because doing nothing is just plain boring. So starting off in order with the workshop. This was ages ago from when I'm recording this now. A few weeks ago we had an email from our head of year asking for us to do workshops for the new year 1 students. It's quite scary to think that they were us a year ago. It's mental. I documented all of it so I can always, but honestly, it's a terrifying thought. But I applied to do these with Ewan. Me and Ewan did our workshop on the 17th, which was a Tuesday. We planned in advance what we wanted to do though, because we only had an hour, and an hour goes by quicker than you might think. But on the day, Ewan came to Cardiff and came into my room. I went to Poundland, which he stayed in my room watching Black Mirror. The very first episode, for those of you in the know. I'd seen it recently back then, and I was hooked on Black Mirror. I don't know why I've stopped now. I moved on to something called Ludwig with David Mitchell and The Cleaner with Greg Davis and whatnot, but I haven't watched Black Mirror in ages. But anyway, Ewan hadn't seen it, so it was quite a shock for him. I bought some headphones because I needed them for the audio drama that I was in and that I discussed last video. When I got back, we went over our plan and we changed it slightly. Our plan was to first everyone's in a circle and we do names, an action and a fun fact about yourself. And me and Ewan had to go around and try and remember all of them. So everyone does their name, fact and actions. You know, I'm Jamie. I have a crippling Doctor Who obsession and my action is that. I don't know. But we failed on most of them. We struggled to remember it, most of the stuff. But we did have some. So I was quite impressed with that because my short-term memory is shocking. Fun fact to you, right? I didn't even learn the names of everyone in my college for the 2 years I was there. And there was only I think about 20 of us. But yeah. Anyway, there was a lot of laughs about it. Ewan mentioned to them that people were repulsed by me. So what I did after we went round everyone was I handed my phone out with a photo of my lovely image of me with a plate of creamy beans. But this was met with further repulsion, but got more laughs and hopefully enjoyment. People were asking questions like, how much mayo did you use? How could you eat that? And, are you alright? But I suppose in a way it's like showing that you shouldn't be afraid of making a fool of yourself, especially if it's an acting course, maybe. Like it could be interpreted that way, or maybe just showing off creamy beans, I don't know. But next in our thing we did splat with a moo-off. We love a splat moo-off. I always look deadly serious during splat. I'm not going to explain splat here, but when I'm in the middle, not when I'm in the middle, when I'm on the outside, I have my guns ready with a fierce stare, and I will shoot anyone. I will shoot the person like that. If I'm in the middle, I will shoot someone at random to hopefully throw them off and get them out. But essentially a moo-off then is when you've got 2 people left in the game and they have to moo at each other to try and make the other laugh. So whoever laughs is the loser. But yes, I'm something of an expert when it comes to splat. I'm brilliant. 2 of these on the same. We've had 2 of these today. 2. Half of the editing. And of course this goes off twice in this video. Next, we did one-word stories where everyone's in a circle. We like circles, and could only say one word to tell a story. And it's the next person, and the next, and the next, and the next, and so on. But you've got to be quick. One word, one word, one word, one word. Just no hesitation. You just say a word and continue the story. This got loads of laughs from people. I think they really enjoyed it. We did a few rounds until we stopped and did one final game. The Ninja Game, where once again, everyone's in a circle, but stood up this time, and two people are chosen. One is a ninja, and the other is a guard. The ninja has to try and find the object on the ground, while the guard also has to find the object or catch the thief. But both are blindfolded, so you wouldn't do it in this hoodie because I can still see through it just about. But you're blindfolded, so you can't see at all. That game cracks me up because the amount of times that both of the people stepped over the Coke bottle that we used as the object without noticing was hilarious. We're like, right there. We did several games of this too until it was time to nearly go. We all just chilled for a bit, and then I talked to them about like student films and doing extra work because you get paid quite a lot for it, and you can do work on set, you can chill, you can play games on set while you're waiting. Because if you're there for like 8 hours, most of the time you're being used for like 2-3 hours tops. In fact, I wrote the beginning of this script on set, waiting to be called for an essay job. Because I was on an essay job, but I was waiting to be called on set. There's a recording of me waving. You just sign up for an agency, or 3, fill out your body measurements, so your height, your weight, your eye colour, your hair colour, and so on. You hopefully get lucky. That's unlucky, isn't it? You get lucky, and then you get paid to essentially sit around for hours doing what you want, within reason, being seen on TV, albeit only for a short amount of time, and sometimes not at all. Sometimes you get free food. You never know what to expect. But whether they use you or not, you get paid still. So it's the ideal job for students. Even if you're not an actor, most of the time it's just like, okay, so you're going to go from here to here, and then that on repeat loads of times. So you're essentially paid to be a normal person. The only negatives I can think of are that you're paid. Is that you're less successful more than you are successful. So it can be like 2 to 3 months before you even get a job, and the payment sometimes takes like 2 to 3 months as well, depending on stuff. But it's really good for students, I would say. That year group were a lot more friendly and chattier than ours were. It was amusing to know that they went through the same conundrum where if you're new to the uni, every single person would ask if they had any questions. And the whole class wouldn't have any questions because they would have been asked earlier on. So they ask any questions and the whole class just goes silent. It was nice to know that wasn't just a thing for our class. But yeah, it's nice to see like how we were them and how we're settled in. We're now in year 2 of uni, and a year ago, we were them. It wasn't until the 17th of September that we had our first lesson, although lesson in quotation marks, because it was mainly a case of vaguely going through what the year will be like and chatting to each other. We wrote down on some paper stuff like what we wanted to learn and do, etc. I remember putting stuff like how to apply for agencies and genuine acting work and so on, and that I wanted to develop musical theatre skills and so on. I don't remember much else about this because as of now, this was like over a month ago. But we were told during this lesson that we could go to a short play that was going on in the uni, which was the next day. I ended up going to it and I rather enjoyed it, but it wasn't bad. A basic summary would be that it's a comedy about a person with special needs, probably ADHD, and they try to survive in the world that we live in. I rather enjoyed it, and I am glad that we do not have to do any more theatre reviews. Oh my god! That is over now, although the year 1's got to do those now. They could suffer like we had to. Like, I love acting, right? I love it. Theatre reviews, can't stand it. So it was a nightmare last year doing them. But we have also done work in front of a green screen, which I love. I'd love to film with it, and as if inside of a TARDIS. It'd be brilliant. In my Doctor Who costume, walking around the TARDIS, it'd be fab. We've only had one lesson of this though, so it's a work in progress. Although, me and Christian have had another lesson where we make backgrounds for it, but we're still learning. But yeah, it'd be fab if we could do that. Next is Wednesday, the night out. After our first lesson, we went out for drinks. After the lesson, I did some more audio stuff, I went live for a few hours, and then we did pre-drinks in our kitchen. I had quite a lot, and that's quite the underestimation. You see, I had I had a whole bottle of sours to myself, and I was already somewhat tipsy. We ended up going to Wetherspoons as well. And a bit of another bottle of sours because it was a disgusting flavour, and a shot of vodka. But after that, I ended up going to Spoons with the class. We had a lovely night with no issues. It was perfectly fine. I wish that happened, but we've got to rewind a bit because I lied. Spoons, and I may or may not have been absolutely drunk out of my mind. I don't remember much of what happened. Apparently I was saying incoherent things. Here's a lovely photo to show you just how out of it I was. Even my lazy eye wasn't having it. It's damaged stock at this point, so, especially when I'm sober. So it didn't stand a chance. When I was drunk, it was just no. And I may have been sick a few times. My mind is very foggy when it comes to this though. I know I walked home with some flatmates, nearly took out an old lady by stumbling at some point, and I can definitely remember our chat on the way back about Doctor Who, favourite classic stories and whatnot. But it's nice to know that even when all logic has gone out of the window, I can still rely on my Doctor Who knowledge. That never leaves. The last thing I remember was just practically falling into bed, falling asleep, and pretty much just being out of it, I think. It was quite the rambunctious night out. I'd never been so drunk before, and probably for a good few days afterwards, and indeed probably a few weeks after. Every time I saw alcohol in shops and on the side, I would cringe. I was asleep by 10:30 in the evening, and I woke up at 5:30 a.m. because I couldn't go back to sleep. It's ringing. Anyway, I watched a comedy called Paul about an alien. I cooked some sausages in my air fryer. I had a sausage sandwich and a lot of water, and then finally got back to sleep. I was on and off that day, sleeping and then not until about 3 p.m, I think. I know I went live, even though I wasn't feeling ideal, but then I had to go shopping because I had an extra roll to get clothes for. What I tend to do, if I haven't got the clothes for an extra roll, is I'll buy the clothes and I'll end up wearing them on set and whatnot, but then I'll take them back so I get a refund. I did this with my 10th Doctor cosplay with the jacket, the trench coat. I wasn't keeping that. I paid £50 for that trench coat. I wasn't going to keep that. I got a refund. I keep the receipt and the label if I can, and then I take them back and get my money back. I've done it for quite a few times, quite a few stuff now, where I didn't have quite the right clothes for the job, like summer clothes. But I didn't pack summer clothes to come here, so I wouldn't have them. So far that brings us 2/3 into September. What else have we done? Well, as opposed to last year where we had 3 to 4 modules a week with 1 to 2 lessons for each one, This time it's 2 modules a week with 4 lessons for the one and 1 lesson for the other. So it's weird. At the moment, I feel it's been quite a slow start. We're nearly like 3 to 4 weeks into uni now, as of writing this. Probably more 5 to 6 weeks as of speaking this. But back then it was mainly drama games, small acting tasks, and just stuff like that, which are fun, especially when I win. But I'd rather we were learning how to act, different ways, practicing, and the theory behind it and stuff, actually improving on acting. Like, for example, 11 months ago, we were starting a children's play, 12 months ago now. We were starting a children's play with songs and dances, though. So hopefully things get much more busier, but good busy, not busy for the sake of it. Decent, good busy, productive busy. But that's slightly depressing, isn't it, saying that we're all bad busy? Busy in a bad way. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy making a fool of myself in front of others when performing. But there's only so many small comedic pieces that probably aren't that funny that you can do before it gets a bit... Do you know what I mean? I'd love to do some proper drama acting, Hopefully all of this is just filler, as we know that a lot of stuff is coming up that's going to be important, including a theatre festival, somehow. So hopefully this is leading up to it, and this is just the filler stuff beforehand. We are currently working on our device piece, which is a little bit busy, but I don't know. The next thing is the Pontypridd play. Ooh, the alliteration. On the 2nd of October, it was a Wednesday, we went to see a play in Pontypridd, as our lecturer mentioned it and gave us tickets. The play was called A Visit, and I really enjoyed it. So I woke up at about 10ish. Me, Henry, Christian and Levi, we caught the train, where we saw our lecturer, my favourite lecturer, may I add, coming up the steps to the platform. It does tell near the name of the lecturer, but I don't think I should, just in case. It was a nice surprise, to say the least. This way we were guaranteed to know where to go. We got the train, I sat by Henry, and then, because there was a rail replacement bus, we had to get off and get the bus to Pontypridd, where I then sat by Christian. We arrived at Pontypridd, and in typical student fashion, we go to the nearest Wetherspoons for dinner/drinks. I had a lovely curry and a Coke Zero Cherry. Now, I didn't read the small print in my curry order, probably because of my broken eyes, but my order already came with 2 poppadoms. But I didn't know that, so I was like, ooh, I'll order some poppadoms. And then when it came, it arrived with 4 poppadoms on the plate. Now, if it was me from like a year ago, I probably would have eaten them all. 4 poppadoms with my curry. But for the last half a year, I'd say, I've been trying to lose weight. When I started, I was 14 stone 2, which made me want to start losing weight. This was around about the time we finished doing Beautiful Creatures, I think, our play we did. I've been trying to cut back on the amount of food that I have, and I've been going to my student accommodation gym most evenings. My goal is to be 12 stone, though, so it's still an ongoing thing. As of recording this, I'm 12 stone 12, so I've lost like £14, I think. £16, but I've still got £12 to go. So I'm getting there. But if you think, learning to drive was my main goal for like 2 years prior, so this is my next goal, to lose weight. Anyway, I shared out the poppadoms and we all had 1 each. But my weight loss thing is still ongoing. After spoons, we walked over to the theatre. We go in, and luckily I brought my glasses, so I could enjoy it the whole time without squinting and just hurting my eyes, or just not seeing things. But it's a good thing I brought my glasses, because it was a really good play. So this mother's in prison, and her daughter and her sister go to see her. The sister, or the daughter's aunt, is looking after the daughter, and they go to the mother. And they chat about how life will return to normal and their plans after she gets out of prison and so on. It was very, very interesting. I really enjoyed it, and it was great not having to think about what I'm going to write about in a review, because we don't have to do them anymore, only the first years, bless them. After the play, we go back to Cardiff. We had to wait a while for the bus. I think we were in the queue for like half an hour waiting for it, maybe 45 minutes. But as the bus trip went on, it got more and more packed, to the point where I gotta be careful how I say this online, but someone was essentially standing over my lap. It was like that. I'm sat down, they are essentially like here. I ended up basically like standing up on the seat like that, literally like this, like standing up on the seat. I was basically kneeling on it at this point to get more space. And it's like I was surfing at some point. When the bus would turn left or right, it was literally feeling like surfing. Probably calmer though, because we found it amusing that Sophie had to sit by a stranger at first, and then instead, as it went on, I nearly ended up in a man. I think I can just about get away with saying that online. Anyway, eventually we got off the bus, onto the train, and then back to Cardiff for 6. I had some food, I went to the gym, did some other stuff, and that was my day. I really enjoyed it. I was able to write about it in this series, so it was a great experience. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that play. The next thing I want to talk about is Comic-Con. On the 19th of October, I went to Comic-Con in the Utilita Arena. I got an early pass, so I didn't have to squeeze past loads of people. I was there for 9 o'clock. That was the early pass. The normal pass was for 11 AM. So I had 2 hours to experience things before I was packed. There were loads of stalls and people in cosplay, etc. It was amazing, from all different franchises as well. I was there as the 14th Doctor. Walking around being in costume was fab. It was quite a big room too, and of course a lot of stuff was expensive, as is fashion with Comic-Con. I got a label on my trousers, I've only just noticed. I bought these trousers the day before yesterday. But anyway, it was expensive, so I didn't splurge loads of money, but I did get my DVD signed by Anita Dobson, who plays Mrs. Flood in the show. I was very excited about that. Just wanted to show off this real quick. This is my DVD of The Church on Ruby Road, the Christmas special of 2023. The first full story that we see the new Doctor shooting in. And it's signed by Anita Dobson, aka Mrs. Flood. It says, "To Jamie, love Anita Dobson, 4 kisses, Mrs. Flood." So it's fab. I haven't even watched the DVD. I watched the episode, of course, on iPlayer, but I haven't even opened the DVD. See? It's still in its packaging. I bought it from HMV, and I got an autographed photo from Colin Baker, even though I didn't meet him. But it comes with a certificate of authenticity, so it's real, and he has signed it. I did have a photo against a green screen for like $5. Am I gonna fall? No. Where's that photo? So I'll show you what I paid £5 for, this lovely photo shoot of the TARDIS, right? Can't believe I spent £5 on this, it's ridiculous. That, right? Never mind the fact that my costume is not even tucked in, that's my fault. My fault. Never mind the fact that my eye looks like it's on the verge of just total fury. Never mind that the top of the TARDIS is cut off, so that's either poor green screen or just bad cropping. Never mind the fact that there's random cars in the picture. Never mind that it's just a random still from an episode of the 13th Doctor. It's mental. £5 for that? That is genuinely the worst way I have ever spent £5. I actually feel quite robbed. Bloody hell. I paid a £5 for this. My God. Anyway, After walking around for a bit longer, I decided it was time to go. I spent a good 3 hours there and I really enjoyed it. I went to Spoons for dinner, still in costume. I had a small fish and chips. Very nice. I probably got a lot of weird looks for it, but I don't care. It's Comic-Con, do you know what I mean? It was near Comic-Con, and it was Comic-Con day, so close enough. Then I went back to my accommodation room, and I don't know what I did for a few hours, but in the evening it was Ella's party for their future birthday. We all went to the student accommodation that they live in, and it was fab. I could only stay for about an hour though, because I had work the following early morning, so commuting would have been a nightmare. But I stayed literally for as long as I could, to the point where I had to run back to my student accommodation, grab my stuff, and then bolt it to the train station. To show you how close it was, I made it by like 5 minutes. The train was already on the platform, but doesn't leave until the certain time. So I was there 5 minutes before it was going to go. But yeah, it was a phenomenal day altogether. The train ride back was full of drunks. On one side of the train, someone got thrown off for sexual harassment, and on the other side, some girls were singing One Direction songs. Chaotic. Although it was a Saturday night, so yeah, it's to be expected. Our main thing at uni at the moment is our group devised performance. I did touch on this earlier briefly, but since halfway through September, I'd say that we've been working on this. We were struggling, we still are a little bit, but we're working on it. We've changed our plan quite a few times as things weren't working. I liked our initial plan, where our piece was a therapy session, as our performance is to do with men's mental health, but I see where the team we're coming from. So now we have a better idea for what we're doing. There's not a great amount that I can say about this in this video for now, but there probably will be in parts 2 and 3. This has encompassed like a whole month at this point, because our class were confused in general of what to do. Then we got into groups and there was chaos about the groups. We tried different things and it didn't work. We kept hitting brick walls, but we think this time we've got something, but it's confusing, but it'll all work out in the end at some point, somehow. There'll be more to talk about this in future parts. Also, on top of our performance, we have an essay and a mini presentation we have to do about the essay. Our essay is basically what is Wales to me, but relevant to performance. So it's probably that last bit that only just makes it relevant to theatre and drama. But anyway, I get to pick a subject relevant to Wales and performance and make an essay on it. Like, what could I possibly have written about for this essay that's relevant to Wales and that's performance and that I'm passionate about? What could I have done? If only there was some clue that would give me a hint as to what I wrote about. I don't know. You would never have guessed, but mine was Doctor Who. And my essay is comparing the representation of Wales, or Welsh characters, in classic/modern Doctor Who. The idea is that the performance side of the essay is that it's a TV show, or TV franchise, with a film, and audio dramas, and comics, and so on. It's a franchise, and the performance is how Welsh people are represented in the show, in classic and modern Doctor Who. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not. We're all ever so slightly baffled on the essay for reasons I won't say here. But yeah, I've spent my first draft. I've done my first draft. I spent a lot of time doing it, so getting my sources, watching the show as research. Hard work that was. Making a plan and then writing it. No joke, as of the 22nd of October, my first draft is done, and it was exactly 2,500 words, which is the word count I was waiting for my first draft feedback so I can implement it. I ended back this morning, but I haven't looked at it yet. I wanted to get it done and dusted though, so I could spend more time on this performance we have to make. There's 9 of us, so we have to make something quite big, and make sure everyone's got an equal chance of acting. But also, next week, before the essay is due the week after, next week we have to present a PowerPoint of a cut down version and a presentable version of our essay. So, busy. Is this good busy? Or is it bad busy? I don't know. I enjoy what I talk about for the essay, and presenting will be quite fun. So maybe it's good busy, but then it's not so much acting, so maybe it's bad busy. I'm not sure. But whenever I'm busy, I think, is it good busy or bad busy? Good busy, love it. I'd love to be occupied. But bad busy is just stressed and stuff I'm not interested in. But that's how I look at things. But either way, everything's going to be fine. We'll get through it. We always do. That's sort of my motto at the moment. We'll get past it. I'll get past it. I always do. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of my motto at the moment. And yeah, that brings us to the end of part 1. Oh no! Just before I do. Recently, I've been getting back into reading books. Like, of course, they're drama books. I get these. Right. I've just finished reading this one, Acting with Passion from Nikki Flax. It's a good book. I haven't read a full. This is going to sound awful. I hadn't read a full book from start to finish in years. Like, unless you count Of Mice and Men, but that was for GCSE English and we were forced to. I hadn't actively picked up a book, read through all the pages and finished it for years. I don't know why. Maybe it's a crippling phone addiction, I don't know. I just never had. But I was reading a book and I actually really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that reading will become a new hobby of mine. It'd be quite cool if it was. I would like to get back into reading. Because I think as well, with like YouTube shorts and whatnot, and just being on my phone in general, my attention span is quite low. As you can probably tell, there's no script at this point, I'm just talking on the spot. But it'll be nice to get back into reading, I think. I thoroughly enjoyed the book. It was a good book. I've got 2 more to read, which I haven't started these yet. I've only read the first one, this one. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to reading these. I just wanted to mention that at the end of this part, really. That is the end of part 1. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good day. Don't forget to drink hot chocolate. Stay safe. And from me, will you shooty Sonic? It's goodbye for now. Nailed it.